Good morning.
Morning.
On June 20th, 2003, almost exactly 8 years ago today, I was asked to introduce Professor Donald Gallup, who was our guest speaker at the first annual Donald Gallup Resident Research Symposium. The Naval Medical Center San Diego OBGYN Department, Dr. Terry Harrison is the chairman, had chosen to honor Dr. Gallup by attaching his name to our annual Resident Research Symposium. The reasons he was selected for this honor were many. For his significant scientific contributions to our specialty, particularly in gynecologic oncology, for his steadfast dedication to resident training, for his commitment to excellence, and as a role model for a generation of OBGYN physicians, and for his continuous interest and support of Navy obstetrics and gynecology. On January 8, 2011, Dr. Gallup died after battling osteosarcoma of the mandible for the past several years. Of note, and no surprise to me, Dr. Gallup continued working until 1 week before his death. Dr. Gallup and I were residents together here at Naval Hospital San Diego. He was 1 year senior to me. And we were close friends for the past 40 years. Because of my long friendship with Dr. Gallup, I was asked to say a few words today about this extraordinary and memorable colleague of ours. Donald George Gallup often described himself as a simple country boy from South Carolina. He graduated from Clemson University in South Carolina. He went to medical school at Emory University in Atlanta. He did a rotating internship at Greenville General Hospital in South Carolina. He joined the Navy and completed flight surgeon training at Pensacola. He then spent 2 years with Patrol Squadron 8, stationed in the Philippines and Sigonella, Italy. He then came to Naval Hospital San Diego for his 3 years of OBGYN training. In fact, Dr. Gallup presented his first paper right here at our OBGYN Resident Research Paper Day in 1969. The title of this paper was Heparin Therapy of Consumptive Coagulopathy Associated with a Retained Intrauterine Fetal Demise. This paper won an award at the Armed Forces District Meeting and was later published in the journal Modern Medicine in 1970. After completing his residency here, he went as a staff OBGYN doc to Naval Hospital Taipei for 2 years. He then did his oncology fellowship at the University of Michigan Medical Center with Dr. George Morley, a renowned GYN oncologist. After completing his fellowship, he was the director of GYN oncology at Portsmouth Naval Hospital for 9 years and retired from the Navy as a captain in 1984. After leaving the Navy, he became a professor and director of GYN oncology at the Medical College of Georgia in Augusta, where he remained for 12 years. In 1996, he moved to Savannah, where he was professor and chairman of the OBGYN department at the Mercer University School of Medicine, as well as the director of GYN oncology. He worked there until his death in January 2011. Dr. Gallup has 130 published articles in peer-reviewed journals and has authored 43 chapters in OBGYN textbooks. He was an editorial consultant for the Green Journal, the Gray Journal, and the Gynecologic Oncology Journal. He was also the past president of the Society of Gynecologic Surgeons. He was actively involved in the Armed Forces District of ACOG, serving as the Navy Section Chairman for 3 years while on active duty, and after he retired, he was the Navy Section Vice Chair. He received the Robert Ross Award, given annually by the Navy retiree who has made significant contributions to the advancement of Navy and military obstetrics and gynecology. All the things I've mentioned so far are very impressive. But now I'd like to talk to you about Dr. Gallup, the person, the outstanding individual that I had the pleasure to work with for the past 40 years. My father used to say to me, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. I'm certain that everyone who's worked with Dr. Gallup would agree that he was both important and nice. In 1969, I came to Naval Hospital San Diego to interview for a residency position. Dr. Gallup, in the middle of his first year, was assigned to show me around before I met the other staff physicians. He was his characteristically charming self as he described what it was like to be an OB/GYN resident at the Naval Hospital, San Diego. As we came to the end of the tour, he asked me, "Do you enjoy going without sleep for long periods of time? Can you handle seeing myriad patients and performing countless procedures and operations? Can you tolerate heavy doses of constructive criticism? Do you want to spend the next 3 years of your life in this very energetic environment?" I asked him, "Why did you decide to come here for training?" His answer, "This is a very strenuous and often stressful program, but I couldn't be happier with my decision. When you complete this residency, you'll be well trained and very confident of your abilities." I'm sure this answer is as true today as it was then. Dr. Gallup was a significant factor in my decision to stay in the Navy and come to San Diego for my OB/GYN training. For that, Donald, let me say to you again and for the last time, thank you. My residency here was the most exciting, challenging, and satisfying endeavor I've ever experienced. During residency, the training I received and the friendships I made here were worth every hour of sleep that I didn't get in those 3 years. During our residency here, we had a total of 10 residents, 3 seniors, 3 juniors, and 4 first years. There were no categorical interns, there were no nurse midwives, there were no OB/GYN nurse practitioners. We averaged about 350 deliveries a month. It was a very busy service and everybody worked hard, but nobody worked harder than Dr. Gallup. His clinical abilities were clearly evident to all of us. His energy and enthusiasm were infectious. He was always there when help was needed. Dr. Gallup was the ultimate team player. He truly enjoyed hands-on teaching, whether it was 1400 in the clinic or 0200 on labor and delivery or in the operating room. He truly was a role model for all the other residents. You know how junior residents always look at this call schedule as who they'll be working with that night? I was always happy when I saw that I'd be working with Dr. Gallup. The qualities that are invariably mentioned when describing Dr. Gallup are his incomparable work ethic, his enviable diagnostic and surgical skills, his availability to his colleagues, his concern for his patients, his always positive attitude, and his cheerful disposition. I'd like to read for you a short poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson entitled "Success." To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child or a garden patch, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. There's no doubt that Dr. Gallup had a remarkably successful life. And so today, here at the Balboa Naval Hospital, now known as Naval Medical Center San Diego, where his OB/GYN career began and where his name will live on, attached to our annual OB/GYN Resident Research Symposium, it's altogether fitting that we say goodbye to Dr. Donald Gallup, a caring physician, gifted surgeon, dedicated teacher, respected researcher, and most important for me, my dear friend. Rest in peace, my brother. You will be sorely missed.